Hey guys, welcome back. NFL Week 4. Had a bunch of questions this week, and I'm bringing it up to you guys so you guys can come in here and answer your questions as well. Um, Seeing a huge uptick in followers, subscribers, which is awesome. Thank you for that. And hopefully you guys are excited. And NFL Week 4 is kicking off. It already kicked off, obviously. Eli Manning, unbelievable. Who is Eli Manning? I don't know who Eli Manning is. I can only say that it was probably Peyton Manning in an Eli mask because it's his bye week and he wanted to play. That's why you went 300 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. But what I'm going to do is just kick this right off. I got some questions that I'm going to answer that have already been tweeted to me, and then just kick that off with you guys. Once you guys ask questions on Twitter, on here, wherever you guys are at, on Reddit, I'm just going to break down the lineups that I have on my website. And I actually have, let's see, if you're not aware, check me out at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. On there, I have free articles every week, multiple NFL articles, some baseball articles, more focused on NFL now. But those are the free articles. Then you can head over to my website, thefantasysportsguru.com. Over on the right side under the ads, there's a drop-down menu for a week, the month, or the NFL season. And with that payment, the subscription, you are emailed the free articles plus the paid ones, which are my full lineups that I use on FanDuel. I break down why, and it's the actual lineups, barring any late-minute injuries that I can't email out to you guys, the actual lineups that we use. It's a great service, and we have a huge following right now. And right now, it's been nothing but positive. So I'm going to kind of answer these questions. I'm going to break down some of the players that I'm using, and I'm going to give you some of my lineup. I'm not going to give you my whole lineup. I can't give you away the whole thing for free, but I'm going to give you a few of the players that I'm breaking down into either cash game or GPP plays is what I'm doing. So let's just kick this off right now and go down. And some of these year-long leagues and some of these are DFS, Daily Fantasy Sports, which most of you are aware of. If you're not, I'm not sponsored by FanDuel, but I highly suggest using FanDuel. That's the one I use. So let's see what questions you guys have asked me this week. Well, on top of it, so everyone knows that Derek Jeter, obviously, if you follow sports, is his final game at Yankee Stadium. I tweeted out something about it, and some guy, I'm not going to name him because I'm not going to ostracize him, but he was saying that that game was staged. And then he changed his story to the double was a gift. And then when I called him out on it, and he mentioned that it was staged for him to hit a walk-off single, after David Robertson giving up 2 home runs back-to-back. Then Jeter being the third one up, he was saying the stage. Then he meant it back, and he said, I meant it was only the double was a gift. No one in your right mind, when you're trying for home field advantage like the Orioles were, stage and hand you a ball to hit off the wall, if not a home run. So, sir, you're an idiot. That's all I'm going to say. So what I like to do is I also, if you have been following, I tweeted out a picture of the surge that I got because the movement's back, and someone, I don't know, he's looking at least 30 years old, asked me if it was like a Monster energy drink, and he had apparently never had surge, which kind of upset me because, come on. But so Adam at Steel_Thoughts asked, can you tell me the difference between cash and GPP? And I think I've answered this for you, but if not, if you need it in video form, that's great. Cash is head-to-head, 50-50, small league, 3 to 20, I would say. And so double ups and triple ups. Double ups, you truly get you go in 5, you get 10, 5, 15 for triple ups. 50-50s. You put in $5. If you're the top half of the league, you get $9 back. Then obviously they take a rake of $1. That's how they make their money. That's how they're becoming a multi-million-dollar company. GPP, guaranteed prize pool, such as the NFL ones, there's 50,000 entries. I'll just do this. It's the 50,000 Sunday NFL dive number 2. So I'm going to go into this. There's 57,471 entries, and 9,836 get paid. It's $1 to enter, and you'll win. If you are in the top 9,836, you'll win $2.50. Top prize is 5,000. GPP, they're hard to win. They're extremely hard to win. You have to have. It's all about luck on that one. You pick the players that you think are going to do the best, but you think they're going to be under-owned, because you need the players that are under-owned, but they're going to just shoot out and win. Such as I'm going to say Eli was probably very under-owned. And if you took Eli on FanDuel Thursday night for the Sunday, he went 1 rushing yard, 1 rushing TD, 1 interception, 300 passing yards, and 4 passing touchdowns for 33.1, and his price was 6,900, and he was only 5.6% owned. Now that right there is going to prove to you the 5.6 owned and the 33.1 points. He's well ahead of the pack right now. Well ahead of the pack on that one. Also under-owned, Larry Donnell. I don't really know how you say his name, but 7 receptions, 54 receiving yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. 26.9 points at 6.9% owned right there. Along with like the New York Giants defense on that one. 0.9% owned. So there you go. That's kind of how your GPPs go. That's how you win the big bucks. That's how you become a millionaire off here. I got sucked into the trap on I played the Thursday night one. I never do. But I was a real big believer in Kirk Cousins this week, along with almost 30%. 12 rushing yards, 4 interceptions. He Tony Romo'd himself this week. 257 passing yards. He made up for it a little bit. A passing touchdown, but a fumble loss. 9.48%. Or 9.48 fantasy points. 28.6% owned. I'm going to need a big day out of Cody Parkey. Jordan Matthews at 1.3%. It's going to need a big day for that. So not expecting to get that. It was only $1. I just threw those together without any actual with a GPP like that. I threw it out without a lot of research, because I just wanted to see what my research gets compared to just throwing out a lineup last minute. So that's kind of what we're looking for. With GPPs, you need daily fantasy sports if you're not following. New week, new team. GPPs, though, they're a whole new beast. They're completely different than your cash game. And I'm going to go through a little bit of the my quarterbacks for cash game and for GPP. And I'll kind of show you a little bit of my lineup. Obviously, I'm not going to give you my whole lineup. You got to go over to the fantasysportsguru.com. That is thefantasysportsguru.com. During the week, though, I have free articles at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Check my YouTube, which you guys are watching right now. Obviously, thank you for subscribing. I think I've doubled my subscription or subscribers in the past week, which is awesome. I love the questions that you guys email me, inbox me. If you guys have any questions that you need to email me at fantasysportsguru22@gmail.com. Ask questions over at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Facebook.com/fantasysportsguru22. I've got questions on there, which is awesome. Love answering those questions for you. So I'm going to head over to the Facebook and check out what you guys have asked over there. And so I've gathered the questions and I've answered kind of a little bit DFS type, which I want to go with. I want to go with a little bit of what you guys want during. I do season-long league as well. And Sorry, there's a guy who had a serious question. He's asking me whether or not I believe that or not about that. I don't know. Let's see. Let me answer this real quick. So, all right. So what I'm going to do is whatever questions you guys have had, if you're in here right now, just you can ask the questions over to the group chat. Go for it, which is awesome. I love that you guys are in here right now. And welcome you guys. So what are you guys asking is the question. So let's see. I already answered that one about surge. I'm sad that you don't know what surge is, but whatever. I helped you. I have one team that got hit hard by this bye week. Wilson, Lynch, Bernard, AJ Green, Michael Floyd. Weeks line, -66. Filling in with Brady, Gerhart, Taliaferro, Kendall Wright, and Jordan Matthews. Now, this right here is the main, what you got to look for. So when you're drafting, now this obviously it's past, it's not DFS, so it's week or year-long annual leagues. So for next year, you have to pay attention to what players are on bye. I understand that you want to get those top players as much as you possibly can, such as Russell Wilson and Lynch. When you take two teammates, you obviously know that the buys are going to be the same, but you might not be paying attention to the other one. So, I mean, he got hit hard. I mean, when you take teammates like that, you also took Bernard and AJ Green. That is the only problem with taking teammates, because like that exact reason, they're all on bye week 4. That's why Denver, like everyone wants to take Denver, but you know they're on bye. You got to pay attention with that. I know you want the best team right off the bat, but you kind of, that's why you got to do research more and more. And these questions are all asked over at my Twitter at Fantasy Advice 22. That was at AK Messiah. He said he's filling in with Tom Brady, Toby Gerhart, Taliaferro, Kendall Wright, and Jordan Matthews. Now, Brady, I don't know what his deal is. And I know he's a good play caller, but this Monday Night Football against Kansas City, the Chiefs are trying to break the sound record like they did last year against the Broncos. So I mean, that's a little something you probably haven't been thinking about, but with the play calling, it's going to be extremely loud. They're going to try to break the record, which they probably will. It's going to be really loud and probably hard for Brady to call it an effective game. And he's not been that effective this year so far. So expect the run a lot. Now, we don't know if it's going to be Vereen. We don't know if it's going to be Ridley. We don't know if it's going to be a 4th stringer, 3rd stringer. We don't know. That would be what I'm concerned about. I'm really concerned about, because he's a great play caller and he knows what he's doing. But if he can't effectively do it because it's so loud, I don't know. That's just something to be aware of. Like, you might not have been aware of it, and I hope that helped you guys. So be aware of that. Toby Gerhart, I didn't think there's a lot of people on him right off the bat when you drafted this year. He's 81% owned. He's really he doesn't have a touchdown. He's never eclipsed 50 yards rushing. I don't like him, but I mean, bye week, there's not much you can do on a bye week, so you better just hope that they take off. So Gerhart, the most attempts he's had is 18, and the most rushing yards he's had is 42. He's going up against Sandy. I know he plays for the Jaguars, and they're god awful. That's just something to take in effect. Telefero, Bernard Pierce is supposedly going to be the main starter with that. But after his week last week, Taliaferro came in, or Taliaferro came in. That's a weird last name. He came in, and Lorenzo, he definitely got drafted. His stock went up after 18 attempts, 91 yards, and a touchdown. If Pierce fumbles again, I could see he's a great. I would take him over Gerhart this week. But if you have both, that's unfortunate. Definitely take him over Gerhart if you can. So, that's what I would take out of that. So let's go. I'm going to go over to my website, and I'm going to break down the one NFL Week 4 fantasy football advice. It's all based on FanDuel, so it's got FanDuel prices. That's what I use. So you can check this article out at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. I also post that on Facebook if you want to like me on Facebook, Fantasy Sports Guru 22, Twitter at Fantasy Advice 22. So we're going to break down suggested plays for NFL Week 4. I'm going to break those down. I'm going to bring this back. I'm going to kind of tell you. I have a ton of lineups in this week. I'm going to tell you about other players. So get ready. I'm going to give you about a minute if you need a pen, a paper to write this down. If you're listening while you're building your lineups, hopefully you're building your lineups on FanDuel. It would work on DraftKings, Draftster, Fantasy Aces, all of those, but the prices aren't the same, so the lineups can't be the same. So that's what you got to pay attention to. So all of these are used for FanDuel, and all of these are the prices and up-to-date injury reports as of it's Saturday at 10 a.m. September 27th. So when I give these, it's the lineups that I have now. But when injury reports come, if they're game time decisions like last week with Jamal Charles, I will try to answer your questions and give you suggestions to replace the Vernon Davises if he's out. But if they come like 5 minutes before the tip-off, I am changing my lineup. And obviously, by the time you read it, you probably won't have time. It'll probably already start. That's the only problem with FanDuel is when the lineups lock at 1, they lock. It's not like other sites, and it's not like Yahoo and ESPN where you can add them or you can bench them up until their game start. That's the only thing about this. So let's get this going. So the first quarterback that I went with, or that I talked about, is Blake Bortles, 6,500. He's making his first start. He played last week, yes, but he's making his first start. 6,500 on FanDuel. He is only good for me for GPPs. I do not trust him for cash, and I feel San Diego is going to go up early. Bortles is going to have to throw the ball a ton. That's garbage time. He might throw 3 interceptions, but he might get 400 passing yards and a couple touchdowns with being down. I feel like they're going to be down quick. I think Keenan Allen is finally going to get what everyone's expecting him to get. He had 3 first slow games he did last year, and then we know what he did last year. Blake Bortles, I feel like they're going to be down. They have some weapons in Hearns, Robinson. You got not a lot. That also will take away from Gerhart because he won't be running it a ton. I don't feel, and none of the experts feel, no one that does any research feels that the Jaguars have a chance. Although, you know what they did week 1 against the Eagles. They did lose, but they were up 17-0. I think he makes a great GPP. That's like $1 GPP in the big 57,000 people tournaments. It's huge prizes. That's just a player you got to throw out there that hope to do good, but don't expect to do good, if that makes sense. Another one is Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan is not good on the road. He's not good out of a dome normally. We saw what he did last week against Tampa Bay. He had 30 fantasy points before halftime, and then they took him out after halftime. He's 8,700. He's a great cash game. I think people are going to be off him because he's not at home, and he is at Minnesota, but Minnesota's playing outside at the college field, so it is outside. It's not a dome. But for his price, I don't expect anything less than 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, maybe a top 5. I'm going to say a top 5 finish, if not the number 1 QB this week again. And other QBs I like, Aaron Rodgers. I think a lot of people are going to be off Aaron Rodgers. He's not going to play like he has been the whole time. He's going to turn it around. I feel like he'll turn it around this week against the Bears, along with Eddie Lacy, I hope. But as Eddie Lacy was my first pick in one of my year-long leagues. Also, Andrew Luck, he's the most expensive, but he's going up against a Titans team that the defense isn't very good, and they're throwing out their second-string QB. Any of those QBs, I like Rodgers, Luck, and Ryan for cash games, 50-50, double up, triple up. Blake Bortles for GPP. Running back Donald Brown, 6,300. Ryan Matthews is out. Woodhead is done for the season. Last week, he had 31 rushes, 62 yards. Like I said, I think the Chargers are going to go up big early, so there's going to be a lot less throwing for Phillip Rivers. There's going to be a lot less passes for Eddie Royal, Keenan Allen. I think Donald Brown's going to get a ton of touches. I'm predicting 30 rushes, 100 yards, 2 TDs. I think he's going to get a lot of garbage time running. And if they get up big, they might put in their third stringer or fourth stringer technically. But Donald Brown, I think he's going to be owned a lot, though. So if you're in a cash game, he's a great cash game play. Throw him in maybe one GPP play. But Donald Brown, I think if you're going for GPP and you're trying for like the Survivor Series, the $25, $1.25 million, Donald Brown's probably going to be over-owned. So you have to be aware of that. So that's a lot of points that everyone's going to have the same. So you can either stay like that, or you can try and choose someone that someone might not be on that might get more. Lamar Miller, 6,900. Last week, he did amazing. He did what we thought he could and would do. But they've flown over the pond. They're in England, or they're in London playing, which I understand why, but I don't get why they do that a bunch. But I think he's going to have a great game again against Oakland, who's just been Oakland. They're not very good. I think he's going to be a little under-owned as well, just because the other big names. So other running backs, Le'Veon Bell, I think going up against Tampa Bay, I think Pittsburgh's going to go up huge first. So it's either going to be Bell or Blunt, or I think he's still good for 100 yards. Eddie Lacy, 8,000. I think he's going to be off people's radar. He has been completely awful. I think he has a great game against the Bears defense that can't stop the run. I think he will be under-owned. I have him in some of my cash game lineups just for hopes, but I also have him in a bunch of my GPP lineups because I feel he'll go off. I feel he'll have a great game, and I feel other people are going to be off of him, which is going to be good for anyone who takes him. He's not going to play like he's been playing. There's no possible way he does that all year. And I hope he doesn't, because I did take him first pick in one of my drafts. So obviously I'm a little biased on that, but I feel he does break out this week against the Bears defense. Then I threw in Pierre Thomas. I feel New Orleans is going to go up early. And Kyrie Robinson, he was expected to do amazing last week, and then he didn't, and no one really knows why. People are saying Kyrie is probably going to have a great game this week. I like Pierre Thomas for his price. I just don't know who to I just don't know who else is at that price with the pass catching, the running, the availability on an offense that's going up against Dallas, which their defense is just god awful. So you can look towards him to expect what you're expecting. Pierre Thomas is, for his price of 6,400, you can't really beat that. Wide receivers, Antonio Brown. He's been the most consistent wide receiver. PPR format, in the past year and a half. He's going up against, or last week he went up against Carolina, who's supposedly they have the best defense, which it didn't show last week. And he went 10 catches, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he'll go up against a Tampa Bay team. And I think Roethlisberger will throw to him the most until they get up really high. And then they'll bring in Le'Veon Bell, they'll bring in Blunt, and it'll kind of taper off and they'll just run it. But I think Antonio Brown for 8,400 will hit his double value, will be good for another great week. Might be over-owned, cash games for sure, GPPs. It's up to you to put them in GPPs. Julio Jones, last week against Tampa Bay, went 9 receptions, 161 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I have no reason to expect he can't do that again against a horrible Vikings defense. 100-plus yard game again, touchdown or 2 is what I'm thinking. Someone who might be under-owned, like he was only 1.9% on the Thursday one, which kind of, if you do a Thursday league, you can kind of gauge how much people are going to be used for Sundays just by those percentages, which I like. Jordan Matthews, 6,600. He seems to be the go-to target for Foles lately. Kind of jumped in that Deshaun Jackson spot. 6,600, had 2 touchdowns last week. I like him for his price, and his ownership is going to be pretty low, I believe. Calvin Johnson, 9,300. It's a duh move. We saw what people did against the Jets secondary. They have a great run stop defense, but their secondary, it's not good against the pass. I think Calvin Johnson's going to see the touchdown train start 1-2 this week. T.Y. Hilton, 6,600. He was kind of hurt, but he's been practicing all week as of now, so I expect him to be in. 6,600 for his price against Tennessee. Can't beat that. Michael Crabtree, 7,000. Michael Crabtree is Colin Kaepernick's go-to target. They have Steve Johnson now. They have Vernon Davis if he's healthy. Michael Crabtree, Anquan Bolden. They have so many targets, but it seems that Michael Crabtree is his go-to target. I'm expecting another 1 to 2 touchdown performance, high-flying game. Look for there to be a lot of points in that game, and look for Crabtree to be a main factor in that. Tight end Travis Kelce. Last week he played in 42 of 72 snaps, 3 receptions, 36 yards, and he salvaged it with a touchdown. Against the Patriots, they're trying to break the sound record, which is big. Kelce has seen his usage uptick every single week, go up and up and up. 5,200, you can't beat that if you're going to punt that. If you're going to punt that position, punt that. If you're going to punt the tight end, you got Travis Kelce, you got Zach Ertz for 5,600, Dwayne Allen for 5,300, and Owen Daniels for 5,100. Owen is taking Dennis Pitta's place, who's gone. But if you're not going to punt the tight end position, Jimmy Graham is the way to go. He's going to be over-owned. He's going to be owned a ton. I'm going to say at least 75, 80%. But he's going to get you those points against Dallas. Dallas cannot stop the tight end position. He's going to be the most owned, and there's a reason. He's the best tight end that has probably ever played the game, or he's really close. By the time his career is done, he will be the best tight end. And my bold predictions of NFL Week 4, the MVP I said would be Matt Ryan, and the flop of the week would be Tony Romo, which he's the flop of the week most of the time, except last week. He did come back against the Rams, which is pretty good. But DeMarco Murray almost had 200 rushing yards. So Tony Romo really didn't have much effect of that. So I like you guys reading these. There's a ton of people that have read this. I think it's great. I hope you guys go to my blog at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com. Check those out. Go to my site, thefantasysportsguru.com. On the right side under the ads, there's a subscription service. You subscribe, I get an email. Once you're emailed, I'll send you the full lineups. I'll send you my actual FanDuel lineups that I use. So let's break it down by the QBs that I'm going to use, and if it's QB in the GPP or QB in the cash games. I got Colin Kaepernick at 8,100. I don't like his inconsistency, so I don't put him in cash games, but I'm definitely using him in GPPs, pairing him up with Michael Crabtree, that's about the extent I'm going to do. Or Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis right now is a game time decision, unfortunately, so we got to wait on that. So you can check that out. Phillip Rivers, 8,400. I think he's going to have a great game against the Jaguars because everyone has a great game against the Jags. I have them both in cash games and in GPP. Blake Bortles, like I said, strictly GPP. Aaron Rodgers, I like him in both because I think he's under-owned because he's been doing just horrible lately. I think he's going to have a good game. And I'm actually throwing Teddy Bridgewater out for 5,900 because I believe that he could have a great chance at being under-owned, playing from behind. Then he could get you the points that you might not be expecting just because of his price and how under-owned he might actually be. So going with your questions, I got a question here. I got a question there. Let's see what you guys have asked going live, asking you guys, which is awesome. PPR, is Allen Robinson a better start over Joique Bell or Alfred Blue? Both of these running backs face pretty tough defenses. Robinson plays on Jacksonville, but we all know they'll be passing it. I do believe PPR, yes. Allen Robinson is going to be better than Allen Hurns this week. And I believe that with Bortles and the garbage time, I don't see why Allen Robinson doesn't hit 100 yards because with GPPs, with garbage time, you want someone who can fling it down the sidelines and get someone who can catch it. Allen Robinson is the one who can catch it. Hold on 1 second. I'll help this young gentleman out. In a PPR league, need to pick up a tight end from these choices: Dwayne Allen, Kobe Fleener, Brandon Myers, and Heath Miller. I realize what Andrew Luck did last week, throwing it to Kobe Fleener. I just don't like him as much as Dwayne Allen. Dwayne Allen is far superior tight end than Fleener. Definitely go with Dwayne Allen over all of those. I like Dwayne Allen the most this week. These are great questions. I love them. Keep them coming in. Facebook, Twitter. Twitter's the main focus where everyone sends your questions. The questions are awesome. I hope you guys have been following me. I hope you've been liking this a lot so far this year. It's only week 4. It's already week 4, I should say. They're a fourth of the way done with the season already, which I can't believe. That's been extremely quick. So these questions are awesome, and I love that you guys keep asking me these. So I'm going to break down one of my lineups. I'm not going to give you the whole thing, obviously. You don't give out. Sometimes I do. This week I'm not. I did last week. So let's go with the I'm still in the 100,000 WFFC NFL Survivor Tournament round 3. Let's look at my lineup, and we'll kind of break it down with what I got. So as of now with this, like I said, you have to have, it's a GPP. There was 57,000 people starting. I think there's 16,000 now. I have right now, I'm starting Colin Kaepernick. And like I said before, 8,100 against the Phillies. The Phillies have been giving up almost the most points of any defense. They've been in high-scoring games the whole time. They've come out ahead all the time, but they've been in high-scoring games. I think Kaepernick has a great week. On this one, I've paired him up with Crabtree and Vernon Davis. I'm waiting for the Vernon Davis report to come in. Unfortunately, it won't be till tomorrow. So we won't know. We will not know about Vernon Davis until probably right around kickoff, that sucks. But what can you do? So I paired up Kaepernick with Crabtree and Davis. I might change that around. You don't know. Julio Jones against Minnesota. Love him, like I said. And then the last one I'm going to give you is Asiata, Minnesota. 6,300. I think a lot of people will be off him, which is great for me. I've got another person from Minnesota. I've got someone from Tampa Bay. My defense is there, and I got one more running back. Now, all of these lineups are over at my website. All you have to do is subscribe, thefantasysportsguru.com on the right side, and it's a great value for what you get for the week, the month, or the entire season. And with that subscription, you get full lineups. You get details to why. I actually have, I think, 4 lineups that I've given you. Now, with these lineups, they're not guaranteed, but they are the ones that I use. So they are to either help you. You can use them. That's what you can do. You can use them exactly and go from there. Or you can check out the lineups, kind of look at each lineup, what players are on what, make your own if you just looking for advice. Now, there are great websites that give advice like Roto Experts, but to get their subscription rates, it's $200 for the season, and they give you exactly what I give you. My entire season, it's $50. The month is $20, and the week, just week to week, is $5. That's the thing. Everyone calls himself an expert, like on Roto Rants, and Roto Rants is where we do great things. Roto Experts is where it's $200 for the season package, and they give the exact same thing that I give, and $200 is ridiculous. It's so much money to put up front. It's what you're doing. You got to look, you got to see. There's some free expertise. I give that as well, so you can move from there. I just got a Twitter question at mting7. Kenny Stills at Dallas or T.Y. Hilton versus Tennessee? I would go T.Y. Hilton at Tennessee. Kenny Stills is good, but he doesn't get as many looks as T.Y. does. So that is what we're looking for. Let me answer that for him. Thank you at mting7 for that. So if you guys, I'm not seeing any questions right now. We're waiting. So it's up to you guys. Who should I flex between Ahmad Bradshaw versus Tennessee or Michael Crabtree versus Philly? I'm in standard scoring league. Definitely I would on this one. I feel like Bradshaw's good, but they have to show why they put so much money into Trent Richardson, what they traded away. Ahmad Bradshaw's good, but I believe he's got an injury. History of injury is a lot worse than Crabtree. Crabtree is good. I think Crabtree is the play this week. Alfred Blue with Foster out or Vereen? Kelvin or Roddy standard? Alfred Blue with Foster out or Vereen? Blue with Foster out of Vereen or Kelvin or Roddy standard. I'm going to have to go with Alfred Blue on this one just because Shane Vereen, Stephen Ridley, Bold. You don't know who's going to get the ball, and that's what – I mean, that's a gamble because they have so many people that will run the ball in New England. Kelvin or Roddy? I'm going to go Kelvin Benjamin again. It seems like Kelvin is the go-to person for Cam Newton. And Roddy is he's going to get his touches too, but I think Julio Jones is going to out-touch him even more. That's the problem with two great wide receivers. You just don't know who the quarterback's going to throw to. So answered those, which is great. Love these questions, guys. Keep bringing them in. What else? Anything else? So I'll break down another lineup kind of. I am going with Jimmy Graham in most of my GPP lineups, which most people are. I think you're crazy if you're not on the Jimmy Graham train this week in Dallas. They can't stop anyone, especially the number one tight end. It's between Jimmy Graham and Travis Kelce in most of my leagues, except the one that I threw out there with Vernon Davis. And now Vernon Davis, we're waiting on him to see if he's going to be what his deal is. So that's kind of what we're doing. Just looking that way, kind of figuring out what we can do. So looking at other questions that you guys might have, or kind of just going through stuff and figuring out what everyone is really looking for. So the questions are kind of trickling down right now. So I think I'm going to end this one. Thank you guys for showing up, watching. Thank you guys for asking questions on Reddit. Thanks for asking questions on Twitter. Actually got another question, I believe. You're welcome, Barney Fan 08. It's just like I said, his Bradshaw. I think everyone's going to be on Bradshaw, and this is for a year-long league. He's good, but I think Crabtree's just going to have a better game just because how many people are going to be on those, and just the mere fact of Philly gives up a ton of points to wide receivers. So any other questions? I don't seem to have any. They're kind of going away. So I will answer your questions on Twitter, on Reddit, and I absolutely love these questions that you guys are giving me. I will answer these as much as I possibly can throughout the week or throughout today and tomorrow. Remember to email me at fantasysportsguru22@gmail.com. My website, thefantasysportsguru.com. My blog at fantasysportsadvice.sportsblog.com and facebook.com/fantasysportsguru22. You ask those questions there. I'll try to answer those. Make sure if you're looking for those full lineups, you can check out the subscription process over at thefantasysportsguru.com. Twitter at fantasyadvice22. Hope you guys have a good week this week. We did big things last week. We're doing big things again. Baseball's kind of winding down, so I more focus on football than I do baseball. Basketball's coming up. We'll be focusing on basketball. Anything fantasy, I'll be focusing. We have people working on the clock for you. So if that is it, thank you. Thank you for coming. Every Saturday, probably, there'll be questions and answers. So throughout the week for your NFL, I'll answer those on Twitter, but I'll also answer these on here. So while you're filling out your lineups, while you're looking at your year-long leagues, you can listen, you can love, you can check that out. So thank you. Good luck this week. Bring home that bacon, and hopefully we are back here next week to answer all of your questions and to help you either win your year-long league, get you another win to closer to the playoffs, or get you that big payday on FanDuel. So thank you, and look forward to your other questions the rest of the day and tomorrow morning before tip-off. Remember, subscription rates. I got great subscription rates, and our lineups are awesome. Got 5 lineups this week. So thank you, enjoy, and bring home that bacon this week.